Rebecca, this is serious business. What did you learn?
Yeah, Adam and Maureen, well, the Rochester police chief says that these big parties sometimes lead to those shootings.
It is an absolute shame, an atrocity that 70 people have been shot in our city in the last 2 months. We ask that you all join with us. If you see something, say something.
Mayor Lovely Warren knows what it's like.
And having experienced gun violence in my own family, I can feel and understand their suffering, but it doesn't have to happen.
She says if 5 or more people are caught, they could face charges.
We can't continue to tolerate the lawlessness that we see and have seen happening across the city of Rochester. I would do all that I can to prevent this tragedy from destroying the lives of our families.
Police Chief Singletary says they're not trying to stop families from getting together.
We're addressing the illegal house parties, the illegal gatherings that are a nuisance to many of the neighborhoods, to many of the residents, and that has created some violence that we have seen.
He says police will be patrolling neighborhoods and stepping up efforts.
RPD will continue to pursue the organizers of these parties, the DJs. We will confiscate equipment. We will do what we need to do to ensure the safety of citizens of Rochester.
And the mayor says unless this violent behavior stops, she will renew this order every 5 days.
Protesters took to the streets in Rochester overnight, all over that new emergency order that organizers say discriminates.
Last half hour, we told you multiple people were taken into custody. Now at 5:30, what city officials claim is the whole goal of this order. Lynette Adams is live at MLK Park in Rochester with the details.
The protesters say this order is aimed at black and brown people. The emergency order, which took effect last night, makes it illegal for more than 5 people to gather outside between the hours of 11 at night and 5 o'clock in the morning. The mayor says the order is aimed at the violence in the city. Since June 1st, police tell us 70 people have been shot in Rochester. The mayor says many of those shootings took place at or after large parties. The ordinance also prohibits gatherings of more than 10 people indoors overnight. Protesters marched through the streets of Rochester during those restricted hours, chanting and shouting at police. And then around 1:30 this morning, police closed in on marchers and began to take people into custody. Still, others stayed until around 3:45 this morning. Here's what the mayor had to say yesterday.
While we are not alone in dealing with this scourge of violence, it is up to us to fight it. The number of shootings and other violence is something we cannot continue to sit around and be silent on.
Now, Chief Singletary said yesterday the order would be enforced even if it meant arresting people. He said violators could face a misdemeanor charge, a fine, and possibly jail time.
Just in this morning, 30 people have been arrested after a downtown protest against Mayor Lovely Warren's emergency order. That order bans large gatherings of people in public places. Police say no force was used during the arrests, and there were no injuries to any protesters or officers. All protesters were charged with violating an executive order and issued appearance tickets. Mayor Warren says unless the violence stops, the order will be renewed every 5 days.